you know, like then you know, if you want more, maybe then you need the probable cause. And you know, in terms of these warrant overturning things, like that shit's it's cooked right now, the way that shit works. So
absolutely,
we're just talking about how to have a better system in place and very transparent. What are the bars necessary to cross it? Right now, we're just kind of hamstrung by, you know, just very old legislation. So
it all sounds amazing. That's, I mean, half of what we've been trying to, you know, find a happy medium for. I just not sure on the route to go. Right?
Yeah, I think we have a pretty good idea, and this goes hand in hand with us trying to detail out like what is a bench trial, right? What should it be? I think one thing we've contemplated, and I might be refracting here, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little cooked, is that, did we talk about this, about like how someone goes and like fights a charge, and like people are bringing shit to bench trials that are lasting 4 hours in some like dirt ass fucking court case?
I definitely brought up bench trials lasting 4 or 5 hours that are reasonably basic.
I think one thing that might get entertained, and this is going to take a much larger conversation, is maybe there needs to, some of these benches are actually probable cause hearings, right? And then at the probable cause hearing, it's like, okay, there was probable cause. There's enough probable cause here to have a like, okay, so imagine this, right? Someone shoots, gang-related shooting thing. Someone says, I didn't do it, right? PD would then, and they're like, bench trial. Well, it's not just bench trial. It might actually be a probable cause hearing. So you go there with what you have so far, right? Without this bullshit of like, hey, make sure all the stuff's in. Da, 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 da. You just need enough to cross the line of, is there probable cause for the arrest, right? And it gets, you know, prosecution, defense, they do their thing. There's no like people at the fucking, you know, swear them in and all that. If there is probable cause, they get thrown on bail, right? If they so choose, and they come back.
Let me tell this person I'll call him back. Yep. Out of there, Mr. Hernandez. Can I give you a quick call back here in a moment? All right. You take care now.
They then get a choice. Okay, there's probable. Do you want to go to jail now, or you want these guys to bring it to the docket? If it's the latter, all right, bet you're on bail, right? But now that you're on bail, if you go do some dumb shit, you know what I mean? Now you're going to be thrown away for 2-3 days, right? But that decision as to whether it's a probable cause hearing versus like whether it's a full-blown bench, that's still's got to get ironed out. I think there's a lot of thought going into this because it's...
I mean, I like the direction it's going.
Yeah. We don't want to take away bench trials, right? Bench trials are great.
But they are great.
But there needs to be when it makes sense and when it really doesn't make sense.
The current system's gonna get rid of them. Nobody's gonna go to them.
I agree.
So, and I agree. I like bench trials. I think a lot of people actually were enjoying bench trials.
I love going to some of these. They're fantastic. It's just some are grindy shit. It's just uninteresting.
Yeah, there's going to be the good and the bad.
Yeah,
you know, always. Everyone I spoke to, at least within the PD, they want bench trials, but this current system is obviously pushing them away. And as we found the other day, that based on what we're required to provide, it's just too high, and having suspects wait for hours. We found the ability to use bail, which has not been utilized in any way, shape, or form. That's a great option, but that's still just a Band-Aid on a problem we have. So Everything I've heard from you so far is great. That sounds great. That's a direction I absolutely want to be part of and would support.
With all the good, there's also the bad, right? And I hope, which is the, PD does have some work to do as well, right? In terms of
always.
So we can move on to what you wanted to talk about. Did you have a chance to talk to McNulty about getting all the 95s processed in one location with these biggest scenes? So that
he doesn't like the idea of it.
He doesn't?
He does not. He thinks this can create too much of a mess and require more people to do more paperwork, which
why?
I sat there and told him, I said, it's not more. I mean, the more paperwork is suspect name, report number, and the amount that they're billed for. That's all you need.
Did he explain his stance?
He said it opens it up for officers to make more mistakes, and he can't trust them to do that, which is
how wait,
says
to bring them in one place?
No, to document the documentation required. That conversation was with I don't know, 4 days ago, literally after we spoke. I spoke to him right away.
He's saying it's more work not to split them.
Correct. And I said, we're actually resolving an issue by doing this while we're creating a literal line of documentation required. That's nothing. We're supposed to revisit it. He said he was going to come back to me in a couple of days. He hasn't, and I will bring that back up with him.
And between us, if he doesn't come with a good enough response, then I'm just going to legislate people getting processed in the county that they were where the crime took place in. So
yeah, hopefully we don't have to go to that point.
No,
obviously we're strong arming, but
again, I think
I agree that it's ridiculous that we can't.
Yeah,
a single. It's a bullet point with the name, a report number, and an amount. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Just have an ongoing report, and then at the end of every week or month, whatever the case may be, we tally up, where funds are being sent from where.
Yeah,
it's done by myself and him. It could be fairly simple, straightforward, and just send the money. Done.
Yeah, exactly. Budget is the least of everybody. Should be the least of everyone's concern. It should be high quality arrests, right?
Proper charges,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm not gonna do it unless, like I said, he owes a comprehensive reason not to do this, right?
Well, he said he sees a problem with it, but he doesn't believe that. Sees a problem with why we want to do it. Right? He understands that is an issue, but he doesn't think that that's the solution. So he said he was going to think of some things. Get back to me. He obviously hasn't. We'll see what he comes up with when we talk this time, and then
fair enough.
I'll bring it up again.
Okay. So what would you like to chat about?
VAF legislation.
I did hear about that. Opal gave Michael a copy. I have not had a chance to look at it just yet.
Okay, I think I sent that to you before. The final touches have been put on it. Unfortunately, it's not streamlining anything because it's requiring anything streamlined at this point is requiring external services. So unfortunately, it's not streamlined. It's more so deterrent and the ability to deter the use of these personal vehicles in situations such as shootings and robberies, bank robberies. There's a bit, I guess, a heavier hand when it comes to that.
I gotcha. Okay.
It's not a black and white. Was it using a violent felony? Yes, or no, then nothing.
And right? Is this something that Flippy and company have looked at as they were the original contestants?
Correct.
Okay, yes. Easy.
I just checked with Nakota here today to make sure that he's in contact with them and has gotten the go ahead from him, and the contesting party has agreed to it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna probably follow up too because Nakota's a rat bitch and I don't trust anything that he tells you or anybody else.
Actually, Mr. Hernandez just called me while
he did
called me while we were sitting here.
Okay.
So I haven't talked to him for a bit, so I'm not sure what the context is, but I can ask him when I speak with him.
All right. Perfect.
So my question here is, and Nakota had the question, DOJ is the one who pushed that. They didn't have the grounds to push that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it needs to go through mayor's offices, and that's what I told them. but I guess since it was being contested, is it being reposted and updated, or do we need to? We're gonna send it through you and
It should be resubmitted. Yeah.
Resubmitted. Okay.
Yeah.
That means we need to put forth another fee.
No, let me handle it.
Okay.
I'm gonna see how I'm gonna get some feedback on it. And make sure the feedback is reasonable only. And can you give me just a high level, like what's in it now?
Sure. Let me pull it up here on my phone. Or make sure I don't misquote it. So essentially, it's going to have there's going to be different reasons as to why a VAF would be issued to a vehicle, which we're calling it a strike system. Essentially, it's a bit not quite VAF, kind of getting rid of the name with it. Either way, there's going to be 3 points. An injury-induced violent felony. So this is where it's a violent felony, including an injury, meaning you've opened fire, meaning you've assaulted somebody with a deadly weapon, you've attacked, right? Gang-related shooting, things like that, where there's actual injuries. That'd be 3 points. 2 points are going to be your violent felonies not involving injuries. So your robberies, your grand theft autos, kidnapping would fall under it. And it's kind of a very gray spot when it comes to kidnapping, but we're talking more so for robberies, right? So if they're being used as a hostage for a bank robbery, it's going to fall under 2. Street racing would be 2 as well. Reckless evading and felony obstruction are going to be 1 point each. And based on how many points they're issued is how much the fine is involved with it as well. So if it's a 1 point incident, it's 1,000 times the number of strikes. If it's a 2 point incident, it's 3,000 times. So the amount goes up based on the violation. The violation that the vehicle was involved in. So if there's basically a heavier hand involved when using these vehicles for gang related and shooting and killing people. Okay. Whereas if it's used for obstruction, it's less of a heavier fine involved. So our goal is deterrence here, right?
Absolutely.
So we're trying to deter the use of these vehicles for hurting people and causing injuries.
May I ask?
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean that it's better to use a supercar? Because with what I'm hearing here is that if people are using a dog shit vehicle and it's getting VAF'd up, that they're going to end up paying an assload of money. But if you have a supercar and you're therefore less likely to get caught, you're paying the equal amount?
Yeah, this is what we spoke to you, I believe, about before. And instead of adding a value based on the performance of the vehicle, generally consistent with the value, we did it based on what it was used for to directly deter.
That would be my only concern. Is there room to consider a tier list?
Or
dog shit regular supercar being the percent price.
So that's what this is actually what I brought up with you before.
I
didn't bring
maybe
I know I brought it up with you, but I think this is something that was a contention point.
Really?
I believe so, yes.
Let's hold that thought. I'm gonna talk to Flippy directly too, because and correct me if I'm wrong, but we probably want people using dog shit vehicles more and knowing that they're not going to get fucked in the ass.
How are you gauging those vehicles?
PDM. Like we can make a list ourselves. We can even put it in the legislation. You know what I mean? Like
so you want to list every single vehicle and what class they fall under?
We could say like anything from the tuner shop, or you know, you don't have a way to see their rating, right? Outside of a garage.
Yeah, we'd have to open up the hood and see what stickers are on it. Which is the original system we put forth, and that's what was contested. Was that we were basing it based on the performance of the vehicle, which is generally a direct relation to how much is invested in it, right?
Yeah,
because that varied. You know, you could have a $30,000 car with $1 million invested.
That is true.
That number would change. I think that's where, and that was actually,
Honestly,
like I said,
you're
something I was
right,
gonna
because if you're going to use your personal car, that's okay. You know what? I'm actually rolling back on what I'm thinking here, because like an Astron would be in the shit tier, but it could be cracked.
Right.
And why wouldn't you just steal a car and use that if that was really your intent? Okay. Yeah, I'm rolling back. I think what you're suggesting is a lot better.
Okay. And then another key part of this is based on how many points are issued is how long they last. Which this is the one part that we did have contact with some assistants.
So,
It'd make
sorry,
it
you were
much
kind
more
of breaking
straightforward.
up for me.
Oh.
Say that again.
So the one aspect we did confirm beforehand that we would be able to get some help on is the tracking of the points and their durations. So they're not
Really?
permanent. Right.
Okay. So they're gonna, and so these points do fall off.
Correct. They have a 60, 45, 30 fall off time. So if
This sounds quite good.
Yeah, so if it's used for a violent felony, it's a 60-day an injury-inducing violent felony, it's 60. Non-injury-inducing violent, it's a 45, and then for every 1 point violations, it's a 30-day roll-off. And then the limit for a vehicle being seized is 15 strikes.
I think this is quite good. I think the way to market this is better than the current system. And points now fall off.
I think it has more meaning.
It does.
I really do. I think it has more meaning. I think it's actually a very fair system.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
Our goal is to keep it straightforward. I'm glad we got off that by per specific vehicle. Even getting away from performance of a vehicle, just straightforward. What's the violation? What is it being used for? The goal is, what is this legislation for? What is this piece for? It's really to deter people from using these cars
and not necessarily
crime,
aiming to let's just crush everything, right?
Right.
If someone does get caught with it, they have that opportunity. That's a big selling point, is that they turn their life around. Their vehicle is not now permanently stuck with these strikes. They will fall off if they do turn their life around or whatever.
Yeah, I think I think it's a great happy medium for everyone.
I agree.
And like I said, I'll be in direct contact here after this with Hernandez to make sure that he's on board for what it is right now.
Fantastic. Could you resend me like the latest copy? And what I will do is
the one I sent you, is it?
Yeah, probably. Just so it's at the top of my thing. Otherwise,
gotcha.
Right.
There you are.
Easy. Okay, I'll take a look at this. I will. Let's revisit Saturday. How does that sound?
Saturday sounds good. I'll put it down.
Perfect. All right.
Good
Okay.
deal.
Hell yeah.
Don't believe I have anything else. Thank you there, Nino.
Hell yeah. It's gonna be how's your budget looking like with these fine changes? Any like noticeable change? Yeah.
It's definitely a noticeable change. Yes. Now we've also made adjustments to ease off on the spending and covering all parts for cars. We slowed that down a little bit. We do have we haven't had an order for some time, so our account obviously looks quite healthy, which is good.
I want to make sure you guys have the best of the best. So, if you guys need shit, you let me know. Just set up a budget meeting with me in my office, and just have like slides and here's our pursuit vehicles. Here's what we need to crack them out. Here's our whatever things and da 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 da. Just as long as these fucking BCSO fucks don't touch it, you know what I mean?
No, they don't touch our budget.
No, I mean your assets.
Right. Nope.
Yeah.
Pursuit's the only thing that we split on, and I believe he's still getting funding from the state on that.
Who is?
Ventura, I guess, created a proposal for the DOJ of some sort.
I don't think they're getting funding from the state. They shouldn't be.
Well, I don't know where the hell they got $4 million from that.
Wait, recently?
Yeah, and the account got re-upped.
What the fuck? Well, they're about to get a massive lawsuit sent their way then.
know, like I said, can't confirm where it came from, but I mean, 4 million is a hefty amount. So I'm assuming that's coming from where we said.
Oh, you know what it is? It's they're misusing Barrett's legislation.
Which one is that?
He's got one for like testing shit, and someone started earmarking using his program for their own benefit.
I see. Okay.
And the program's supposed to be dead. I have a feeling. I'll go take a look.
All right. But yeah, we put in a large order. The problem is people fulfilling these parts the way that they work now. You gotta answer that. Go for it.
No, that's fine. I can call back.
The way parts work now and able to break them down and get them polished up and everything.
Yeah,
that's a great system. We're still trying to kind of just figure it out.
Yeah.
Exactly the details as to how we want to operate it as the PD.
Makes sense.
But ultimately now we want to invest in top tier parts and then repair those top tier parts. So getting our hands on large numbers of them it's not easy.
I mean, we can always overpay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the problem is the person we're overpaying who gets his hands on them the most is probably the person you're having issues with.
Oh, things are changing. Yeah. So, just need a little bit of time. All right, easy. All right, easy. All right.
Fair enough.
Appreciate it, Turner.
Take care there, Nino.